Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome to chapter 7.3. So today you're going to learn how to multiply binomials. You're also going to learn how to multiply binomials with trinomials. So this is where the chapter starts getting a little bit difficult, but I'll try to make it as easy as possible for you. So instructions for today: simplify using FOIL method. Now, these are the instructions for the first part of the lesson. Eventually, we're going to have to adapt to different methods in order to solve or to simplify. So we've got x minus 7 in parentheses times x plus 5. Now, what does the FOIL method mean? Basically, FOIL means for the f, it means for the first terms, and I'll show you what that means. Then the O stands for the outer terms. Then the I stands for the inner terms. And then the L stands for the last terms. Now, when I've taught this lesson, guys, this is what you're expected. There's different methods to actually get the answer to this, but this is what you're expected to learn, especially if you're an advanced student. On the second part of the lesson, I'll show you different methods. You can adapt it to binomials, but usually the different methods I use more for binomial with trinomial because the expressions are a little bit longer and a little bit more difficult. So, in the past, I've had students that do FOIL. I've done students that do philo. I have students that have done FLOY. In other words, they mix up the steps. You can come up with a correct answer. Just the thing is that with the FOIL method, it's honestly a very easy method. It's just, you have to take it step by step. So the first thing, FOIL, you have the F, which means first. First means the first terms in the expression. So what you need to do is you need to multiply those first two terms. So first of all, x times x. Those are the first terms in the parentheses. So what is x times x? It's going to be x squared. Then the next part is the O, which is the outer. It means the outer terms in the expressions. So the outside one is this x and the 5 on the other parentheses. So you're going to do x times 5. So x times 5, and remember that it's a positive 5 plus 5x. Okay? Then the I is the inner. That means the terms inside of the parentheses within the expression. So the inner terms are the minus 7 times the x. So negative 7 times x, negative 7x, or minus 7x. And then the last terms means the last terms of the parentheses in each part. So we're going to take the 7, the negative 7 times a positive 5. Negative 7 times positive 5, negative 35. Now remember that one of the things that you're expected always to do is write it in standard form. So when you do the FOIL method, if you do it properly, usually the middle terms are the ones that you can combine together. So I cannot combine x squared with anything, so it just drops down as x squared. Then I have 5x minus 7x, and it's negative 2x or minus 2x. Then the negative 35 drops down because I cannot combine it with anything else. And that is your answer. Okay? So let's practice it again. The next expression is going to be 4n plus 3. And then you're going to multiply that to 2n minus 2. So again, first, the 4m times 2m. 4m times 2m is 8m squared. All right? Oh, the outside terms. 4m times negative 2 is negative 8m. Then I is inner. Remember that it's the inside terms. So positive 3 times a positive 2m is a positive 6m. And then the last 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And remember, I said go to the middle terms. Just as in the previous expression, the middle terms are the ones that you can combine together. So I'm at 8m squared minus 2m, because negative 8 plus 6 leaves you with a negative 2, drop the m. And then the negative 6 or the minus 6 drops down. And this is your answer. Okay? Now, how do I expect you to show workout? I don't expect you to be drawing the arrows, because you're expected to be able to do it without the arrows, but this was just for demonstration to teach you what the FOIL method means, the F, the O, the I, and the L. So let's do one without the arrows, just to keep track. We're still using the FOIL method, guys. And then after this, we'll go into multiplying a binomial and a trinomial. All right, so let's do our next example. Let's say, for example, I have 3d minus 4 times negative 2d plus 7. Okay, notice I didn't leave any space to be doing the arrows. So FOIL, F first. The first two terms, a 3d times a negative 2d is negative 6d squared. Then the outer, right? 3d times a 7. 3d times 7 is 21d, and it's a positive 21d. Then the I for the inner, the two terms in the middle that are inside the parentheses or in the multiplication expression, negative 4 times a negative 2d. Negative times negative, I know it's positive. 4 times 2 is 8. Don't forget to drop the d. Then I have a negative 4 times a positive 7. Negative times positive is negative. And then 4 times 7 is going to be 28. Don't forget always, middle terms can be combined. Okay? Negative 6d squared drops down. And then you've got 21d plus 8d is going to be 29d. Positive 29d, and then the negative 28 drops down. So hopefully you found this easy. It does take practice, guys, but I promise you, you'll be able to master it, inshallah. Okay. Now, the next part of the lesson, we're going to be multiplying a binomial with a trinomial or a trinomial with a binomial. I'm going to teach you 3 methods, 3 ways to solve this type of problem. You get to choose which method you like best. I'll give you my suggestions as far as what I like to do. So your instructions are going to be to simplify. And just understand that when you write it, make sure that it is in standard form, from the greatest power to the least power. So here we go. Our expression is going to be m plus 2, and it's going to be multiplied to a trinomial of 3m squared minus 2m plus 1. Okay? So you got a binomial times a trinomial. The first method I'm going to use is called a table. So a table, it's kind of like when you have the multiplication table that you grew up with, and I'll draw it really quick. Let's say that and this is multiplication. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So a table is kind of like 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 4 is 4. The next one, 2 times 1, 2, 2 times 2, 4, 2 times 3, 6, 2 times 4 is 8. So we're going to do almost a type of table like this, that you use this strategy in order to solve. Okay? Now your table is going to look like this. So usually what I do for the shortest, which is the binomial in this case, I usually use a 2 by 3. Okay? And what I do is I write my trinomial, 3m squared. Of course, keep track of negatives, minus 2m plus 1, and then over here m plus 2. Okay? So what it means now, I'm going to be using the same method that I just showed you, only I'm going to be doing obviously coefficients, keeping track of variables and exponents. So for the first one, remember we're multiplying m times 3m squared. Okay, m times 3m squared, so it's 3m cubed. Okay, m times negative 2m. So positive times negative, obviously negative. 2m times m, 2m squared. Okay, then m times a positive 1. You might want to go ahead and keep track of that 1 because this honestly is not your final answer. You don't have to put the 1, but for some of you it might help you. So 1 times m is positive 1m. Okay, now the next step, the 2 has to be multiplied to the 3m squared. Okay, so 2 times 3m squared is 6m squared. Okay, then 2 times the negative 2m, positive times negative is negative. 2 times 2 is 4. Don't forget you have an m. The last one, positive 2 times positive 1 is a positive 2. Now in this one, watch this. On the diagonals, you have like terms, okay? You have like terms in the diagonals. So in order to get our final answer, the 3m cubed that's on the top, you cannot combine it with anything. It doesn't have any like terms in the rest of the table. So write down your 3m cubed. Now in this diagonal, okay, you have a negative 2m and you have a positive negative 2m squared and a positive 6m squared. So find the difference of the two, and it's a positive 4m squared. Then on this diagonal, you have a positive 1m minus 4m. And in that case, you get a negative 3m. And then this term at the end doesn't have anything to combine with, so you just write plus 2, and that's your answer. So, number 1, the two terms at the end usually don't have anything to be combined with, unless if these were not written in proper standard form. If they're not in proper standard form, then it's all over the place. So before you use a table, what I would do is write it in standard form. If it's not written for you, write it in standard form. So like that, when you use the diagonals, you can add up like terms. Now this method, for the most part, are for the students that really, really struggle doing the next two methods that I'm going to be showing you. So this works for FOIL as well. You know, binomial terms are binomial, and usually the diagonal is the one that is going to be the like terms that you can combine. But like I said, I'm going to give you a choice. If you're struggling with the next two steps or the next two methods, then go ahead and use this. It's up to you. So this is one method. Now I'm going to solve the same problem, and this is what is called vertical alignment. So vertical alignment. Okay, vertical alignment is kind of like when you do 123 times, let's say, 13. What do you do in a problem like this? 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3, and then remember we have a space saver. 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1, and then you get your answer. That's vertical alignment. You've been doing this in the past, now you're doing it with variables and coefficients, of course. So here we go. Usually, and the best and the easiest way to do this is honestly write your trinomial first. So 3m squared minus 2m plus 1. Remember that we're multiplying it, and we're multiplying it to m plus 2. Okay, So let's start with the 2. 2 times 1, and remember it's positive times positive, so plus 2. 2 times 1 is 2, then positive 2 times negative 2m, it's a negative 4m. Then positive 2 times a positive 3m squared is 6m squared. Okay? Now, you can do a space saver. Just be careful, you know, I usually don't use a space saver because what I'm going to do is I am going to align them according to power. So m times 1m is a positive 1m. So I align it with the term that has the same exponent. Then a positive m times a negative 2m, it's a negative 2m squared. Then m times 3m squared is going to give me 3m cubed. Then after this, combine like terms. Remember, my third degree, second degree, first degree, and my 0 degree or my constants. So it doesn't matter from right to left, left to right, up to you. Drop your plus 2 down, then negative 4m plus or minus 4m plus 1m is a negative 3m squared. I'm sorry, 3m. Don't add exponents, that's a common mistake, by the way. Just keep the exponent the same, because you're not multiplying now, you're just adding. Over here you have a positive 6m squared minus 2m. So 6 minus 2 is 4, and the m drops down, and the power stays the same. Okay? And remember that it is plus, you have to keep separation of the terms. Then 3m cubed doesn't combine with anything, so it just drops down. Notice that with the table and with the vertical alignment, I got exactly the same answer. Okay? So it's 3m cubed plus 4m minus 3m. I'm going to do the same problem. Now I'm going to show you horizontal alignment. Now, horizontal alignment is mainly what a lot of teachers, especially for the advanced students, expect. So I'm going to give you that choice, just in case if you have a teacher that demands it later on, especially for advanced students, that's what you're expected to do. So you've got the problem now. I'm going to write it up here. Horizontal alignment. All right, horizontal alignment basically means this, guys. You've got your expression, right? So it means that the m is going to be multiplied to every single term on the inside of the other parentheses, okay? So the m gets multiplied to the trinomial. At the same time, the plus 2 gets multiplied to everything inside the trinomial. So how do you do this? First of all, m, and then write your trinomial. 3m squared minus 2m plus 1. Now keep track of what's in the second term inside the binomial. It says plus 2. If it says negative minus 2 or minus 4 or what have you, keep track of that minus. So it says plus 2 here. And then you're going to multiply that to everything inside the trinomial. So 3m squared minus 2m plus 1. And what you need to do with horizontal alignment, you need to basically do distributive property to every single term, okay? Now, do I need those arrows? No, because it's by this point, either you know how to multiply or you don't know how to multiply. So here we go, m times 3m squared, it's 3m cubed. M times negative 2m, negative 2m squared. M times a positive 1, it's plus 1m. And maybe within the problem, I know that I keep on showing that 1, it's not necessary, but that 1 probably helps you add and subtract later on. As long as that 1 doesn't appear in the final answer, I'm okay if you use it within the problem. Positive 2 times 3m squared, it's plus 6m squared. Then positive 2 times a negative 2m, is negative 4m, okay? And then positive 2 times positive 1, it's a plus 2. The next thing that you need to do is look for like terms. So I have -2 plus 6, okay? And both of them have the degree of 2. The other terms that I was saying are that 1m and the -4m, okay? So here we go. You're expected to rewrite so you can group like terms together. So this is 3m cubed. 3m cubed minus 2m squared plus 6m squared plus 1m minus 4m plus 2. Okay? So notice now that you rewrote it to where these terms are alike and can be combined. At the same time, these terms are alike and can be combined as well. So our 3m cubed drops down. Right here, -2m plus 6m plus 4m squared. Then a 1m minus 4m, -3m, and then the plus 2 drops down. So this is horizontal alignment. This is expected more for advanced students. However, for me, honestly, I use vertical alignment much better because I can align the like terms together and just add them up at the end. So let's practice one more. And I'm going to just do vertical alignment on that one. All right? You're still expected to simplify. Make sure it's in standard form. Standard form, remember, it's from the greatest power to the least power. And let's say, for example, you have 2y squared plus 6y minus 3, and you're going to multiply it to 4y plus 5. Now, even if the trinomial is labeled first, remember you can always shift the binomial to the front if you want to do the horizontal, the previous step that we just did. But for me, 2y squared plus 6y minus 3, I find this method much easier because this is the way we've learned how to multiply, right? So here we go, positive 5 times a -3, -15. Positive 5 times a 6y plus 30y. Positive 5 times 2y squared, 10y squared. Then on the other side right here, 4y times a -3, -12y. 4y times 6y, it's a positive 24y squared. Then 4y times 2y squared, it's 8y, and remember it's to the third. Now go ahead and add up. I have 8y to the third plus 34y squared, and then 30 minus 12 is 18y, and it's a positive 18y, don't forget to put the plus sign, and then minus 15 just drops down. So it's that quick, guys. Now for real world problems, yes, we do apply these methods. So let's do a quick example of a real world problem. So let's say that you have a circle and the radius is going to be 4g plus 5, and it's feet. And your question is, what is the area? Okay, so we go back to how do you find area of a circle? So area of a circle is pi r squared. So area is equal to pi, and then we have 4g plus 5, and that's squared, okay? So what does 4g plus 5 squared means? It means 4g plus 5 times 4g plus 5. Go ahead and do the FOIL method, guys. So area is equal to pi, and then you got 4y times 4y. It's 16y squared. 4y times 5y plus 20y. 4y times 5. And right here, 5 times 4y, another, and it's not y. I just remembered we're using the variable g, and I think I just turned it into a y. So 20g, sorry about that. And then plus 5 times plus 5, plus 25. And I know I squeezed it in a little bit. Now the last step to this is you've got to distribute the pi. Well, before you distribute the pi, make sure that you go ahead and add like terms. You're going to afterwards distribute that pi, okay? So area is equal to pi, and then it's 16g squared plus 40g plus 25. Now go ahead and do your distributive method with a pi. Area is equal to 16 pi g squared, and then pi times a positive 40g plus 40 pi g, and then pi times 25 plus 25 pi. All of it is in parentheses. Don't forget your monkeys or birds. We're talking about feet. So at the end, put feet. So the final answer, 16 pi g squared plus 40 pi g plus 25 pi. And then feet, we're talking about area squared. Feet squared because we're talking about area. So inshallah, guys, you can choose whichever method you want on binomials times trinomials. I suggest the vertical method, but up to you. Now for the FOIL method, you're expected to do the FOIL method. So I will be specific on a test or a quiz if I leave you the free option to do as you wish, but FOIL for sure you have to master this year. See you in class, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.